Hi, Joyce Herb with paperfinesse.blogspot.com. Well, this is the Christmas gift I got for myself this year. It's Heartfelt Creations Woodsy Wonderland. So we're going to take a look real quick at how I colored and cut out all these fun images. Using the Woodsy Critters stamp set, I stamped some in gray and some in brown. And once I colored, I did prefer the gray ink. I used archival ink here. And I did 4 sets plus my first test run that I did. So I've got 5 sets of the same images. Now here I'm going to be using dies, and I'm using the magnet which I put on the back of my Heartfelt Creations packaging to hold my magnets. I hate that tape. And I'm doing that to help hold these dies in position. Since I'm cutting out multiple pages of images, I don't want to place the dies individually every single time. So what I'm going to do is use some press and seal, and I got this tip from Jennifer McGuire. Here I've got them all in place. And the press and seal, I'm showing you here that I've got multiple sets here. The press and seal will pick up the dies and hold them together as a set. But I'm showing you here that I've what it looked like after I cut it out. It cuts pretty close to the edge. And as I lay this down, because I'm sure it's just me, but I'm bumping it, it's moving on me, and I have to keep repositioning it. I left it in the video just to show that it's a little bit fussy here. Once you get it, it sticks to the press and seal and it works great. But hang in there, I actually found a better way, which is easier. I ran it through my die cut machine, and I'm going to punch all the pieces out. I'm just punching through the front with my fingers, and I do turn it over. And with the anti-static pad, which has just got a powder in it, I was de-sticking a little bit the back, so the next time the pieces don't stick quite as hard. And here I carefully flip it upside down and peel the paper off of the press and seal. And now I've got my dies all together. And I can position it and just run this through multiple times. Now this is the next set. And it's called Woodsy Wonderland. I'm using the stamps and the dies, and I use the archival gray ink again. And I'm showing you that there's some white there on the edges. And I'm going to be using the markers, probably the green because of the green background, the black, or maybe a dark brown to help color in some of those edges. And what I had decided to do, I'm going to show you here what it looks like when I color the edges. I'm using YR63. I tried to pick a medium green, seeing I'm not sure what kind of background this is going to be on, most likely some kind of green. And I personally do not like the white edges. They really bother me. So I'm coloring it to blend in with the back with a green background. And this does take a little while. And I'm doing it on a black background because it's easier for me to see when I've got all the white covered. Now for this set of images, I'm going to position my dies with the press and seal, but if you notice, I'm using my magnetic platform this time, and this worked much better. The dies don't keep moving if you happen to bump it because it really holds on. The biggest thing is that they were a little difficult to position just because of the strength, but I'll tell you what, once you get it positioned, you can easily lay the press and seal over it to pick them up. And so I did the same thing. I pressed it on and pulled off the press and seal after I ran it through the die cut machine. Here I'm showing you the results of what it was after the cut, and there's white showing. So for the subsequent papers that I'm going to cut afterwards, I decided to color the outside edges before I cut it out. It doesn't, you don't have to stay within the lines when you're going to use a die to cut it out. And that works out much better. There I just showed you how much white was showing on the tail once I cut out the first sample. So I colored black around the tail. Now for the trees, I colored them differently because I could use a sponge on this. I didn't have to use as many Copics. I used Gina K inks, and I used this round latex sponge to lay the bulk of the color, and I just put it in the palm of my hand and rolled it, and by rolling the sponge I didn't get harsh edges. Then I took the little finger dauber just to put in some dark spots, and then I put in some dots and some details with the marker. But that went much faster. And look how nice those trees turned out there on the edges. You can see right there. And this is Woodsy Landscape. Now here I'm just showing you the white that's showing in some of these images. And I've got a lot of images from the first batch that I did that I didn't do the edges on. So I'm going back now on my black background, I'm sorry. And on the animals, for the most part, I used a dark brown. I believe it's E49. And I'm just covering up all the white. So here I'm doing the foxes, and I used the black on the birds. I used black pretty much on all of the critters, and then on the trees I used a green. Now I'm showing you how it looks without the edges. And I'm storing them in this empty Cricut box, which I'll show you at the end. I do cover that box with paper from the Woodsy Wonderland paper collection. And then so I collected up all my deer. And here I use a combination of the green marker and some brown, but I end up doing a lot of green because, again, they're going to be against a green background. So this is a lot of the critters. This is most of what I did, what I could fit on the page anyway, and then the box. So I hope you enjoyed this project or this demonstration on how to cut out multiples. And I do this to prepare myself for a project so I can just sit down and have the pieces that I need all ready to go. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And also, feel free to leave comments with any ideas or things that you'd like to see. I will be trying to upload a little more frequently and back on a schedule again. Have a great day. This is Joyce Erb with paperfinesse.blogspot.com.